Hello, beautiful people. Mic check, mic check. I'm so happy to be here with you right now. I've had to, you know, take a couple deep breaths, pull myself together because I am so excited right now. When I tell y'all that I am coming in hot, I am coming in hot. Slap that like button, share this live because we are about to get into it. I'm about to tell y'all what happened, okay? And then we're going to get into it because this document is long. We're going to be here for a while. We have a super chat goal going. Let's make sure we hit it. Welcome to those of you who are watching. Hello, I am Absa. I am technically a political and communications strategist. And here on YouTube, I talk about many things. But we spend a fair amount of time dissecting the issues, challenges, and strategies of people in the public sphere, whether they are celebrities or politicians, etc., etc. And so I was in a meeting on screen, right? And I have a chat group where we just talk about and cackle over, frivolous things. And we all work in the arena. So we share similar interests and we get a kick out of and we get joy out of, very similar things like lawsuits and documents. So I'm sitting in a meeting, being real professional, like, yes. And I've got, chat pops up. Hey, y'all, check your email. And then I hear the email notification, but I'm on screen and I'm and yes and oh really in. So I have to be, locked in. So I can't do anything other than briefly avert my eyes down to the screen to see what's going on, right? So I just see, like, hey, y'all, check your email. Bloop bloop. I know it's not anything that we're waiting for because I get those notifications directly. And then I just see a bunch of like 3 bubbles pop up and all of them are just dot, 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 dot. So I'm like, okay, but let me focus here. So the next friend, their response pops up. And I have 2 friends that do this. I have 2 friends that do this where their immediate reaction is, and one of them is in this chat, where their immediate reaction to almost anything that you tell them is, I don't believe you. So that the first thing I see pop up is, I don't believe you. And then I don't believe this is real. And then a couple other people start chiming in. Is this real? Is this real? And then this is real, so I'm watching this go back and forth and they haven't said like what it is. And then somebody says, Absa, have you seen, is this real? And so I'm like, I can't type anything. I've got a and oh yes. Oh, that's so interesting. Yes, let's think about how we could work that in the next round of communications. Right? So then I glance down and I see, they're coming to the conclusion that, okay, this is real, whatever it is. And then I start to see, profanity. Serves her right, this, that, the other, da, 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 da. And then can you imagine waking up and discovering this is you? This you? Oh, this you, boo? Bunch of sarcasm and I want to just scream, what is going on? And then I see, can you imagine being sued by the president of France for being a MAGA troll? And I was like, who is it? Couple people popped by. So anyway, meeting quickly ended there, shortly thereafter. And I ran to my email and I opened the document and I too was like, it was a document. And then also they were kind enough to, this lawsuit is over 200 pages. They were kind enough to have a 6-page little like overview of like, so I look at the document and I'm like, no fucking way. I have the exact same reaction as everybody in the group chat. No way. Nuh-uh. I don't believe you. So then I click over to the summary to see like what this is. And I get into the first paragraph and I'm like, there's no way this is real. There's no way this is real. So I'm catching up in the chat. I'm like, okay, I'm looking. It is a, it is a real document. So I would just like to shout out besides all of you good, wonderful, awesome people, I would just like to shout out oh God, where'd it go? Did I lose it? Oh, there it is. The Chancery Daily. For this document. Thank you so much to the Chancery Daily, who believes in, once they get it, they make it publicly available to people. So thank you to journalism. And I'd also like to just give a shout out to, just for the sake of, the good people who work at the Superior Court of the state of Delaware, because I'm already knowing. I'm just trying to imagine the expression on the face of the person who received this electronic filing. Just a normal day. It's just a normal day at work. Just a normal day of working at the courthouse and processing incoming filings. That's it. And you open this one, and it is the president of France and his wife suing the ass off of Candice Owens. So I'd just like to shout out to those good people, because I know that they took a deep breath, because the realization of what your morning and afternoon, what your whole day is going to be like once you realize you're in possession of this document and you're going to process this document, and then this document is going to be public information, and then everybody's going to come. So I'd just like to shout out to the good civil servants minding their good damn business, just punching the clock day in and day out, for putting up with all of the people clamoring to get the good. So this might not interest you, okay? Admittedly, but hear me out. First of all, you're going to see me get very excited. Some of you like that. It's good entertainment for you. Second of all, this matters. This matters. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're part of the community, you already know what we've been talking about. And we've been having this conversation, scattered throughout the past year, of what it is to be in the age of stupid, what it is to be in the age of conspiracy, what it is to be in the age of people, of anybody being able to just get a microphone, get on the internet, and say whatever about whoever, amass a huge following, make an entire career off of it, lie about serious matters, lie about people. This lawsuit has been filed in the United States of America by the president of France and his wife against the woman who wore a swastika and White Lives Matter and walked down the runway with Nazi West. I only read the first 2 paragraphs of the 6-page little summary before I was like, this is too fantastical. The details of this are too fantastical. I had no idea, because, I'm tight with my algo. So I had no idea. And we're going to get it all, because they put it all in this lawsuit. I had no idea the degree to which this had progressed in Delulu land, okay, and in the age of stupid. And so this is consequential. This is consequential because we don't all have to participate in the age of stupid to have our lives impacted by it. And our lives are being impacted by it. Our communities are being impacted by it. Every policy and legal maneuver happening right now at the national and federal level The path is smoothed by disinformation. The path is smoothed by whoever's loudest wins. And we suffer. And we've been talking about infiltration. We've been talking about the methods in which, and this is a documented infiltrator of the culture. And so to see her get snatched up by the president of France. I'm breathless and I'm so excited. I'm really so excited. Yes, very excited. We're going to be here for a while. Hit that like button. Share the live. Whew. So, oh, you're going to need a lot of popcorn. Yeah, I'm going to be half passed out by the time I get done with this damn document. Because, like I said, just the first 2 paragraphs of the summary, I was like, I I don't even know what to say. You think that we have seen some biscuit headassery in legal filings, which I was gonna update you on some things, but that's gonna have to wait for another day because this is gonna take an entire live, and they pale in comparison to the unfortunate, because it is real. Let's remember that this is real. This is why I'm saying let's ground ourselves right now in the fact that this is real and that this is serious and that it is absolutely consequential to us here in this country dealing with this bullshit on a day-to-day basis. Let's ground ourselves in that now, because once we dive into this, we are going to crack up. We're gonna crack up and you're not gonna believe me as I'm reading some of these details. You're gonna be like, no, I'm sorry, this is a bridge too far. I don't believe that that is real. I don't believe that that is real. She what? Okay. Yeah. So breathe in, breathe out, cause child. It's about to get crazy up in here. Yeah, this is incredible. This is really, really, this is a moment. This is a marker, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. This is genuinely one of the happiest moments of my adult professional life. That's how consequential this lawsuit is. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier right now. But it's also cray cray. So yeah. Calling her a man is not the half of it. It's not the half of it. In March 2024, Candice Owens, a right-wing podcaster, told the world she would stake her entire professional reputation on the fact that Brigitte Macron, the First Lady of France, is in fact a man. Since then, Owens has used this false statement to promote her independent platform, gain notoriety, and make money. Owens disregarded all credible evidence disproving her claim in favor of platforming known conspiracy theorists and proven defamers. And rather than engage with President and Miss Macron's attempts to set the record straight, Owens mocked them and used them as additional fodder for her frenzied fan base. This is like when Nicki Minaj said all that disinformation about the COVID vaccine and her cousin or her cousin's friend or whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. The point is, this is like that. And the White House was like, this is such a threat to public health and such disinformation. We're inviting you to come to the White House. Did we ever see pictures of Nikki? No, not in that administration. Might we in this one? We sure might. But this is like that. They said, rather than engage with President and Miss Macron's attempts to set the record straight, Owens mocked them and used them as additional fodder for her frenzied fan base. You have an opportunity to have an audience with the president of France. I'm having a deja vu moment. Owens did not stop there, retaliating against the Macrons for the audacity of sending her a retraction demand. Owens filmed an 8-part podcast series entitled Becoming Brigitte, known in this document as the series, and accompanying X, formerly known as Twitter, posts. Throughout the series, Owens and her entities, Candice Owens LLC and Georgetown Inc., endorsed, repeated, and published a series of verifiably false and devastating lies about the Macrons, on which this complaint is based. These outlandish, defamatory, and far-fetched fictions, including that Miss Macron was born a man, stole another person's identity, and transitioned to become Brigitte. Miss Macron and President Macron are blood relatives committing incest. President Macron was chosen to be the president of France as part of the CIA-operated MK Ultra program, or a similar mind control program. And Miss Macron and President Macron are committing forgery, fraud, and abuse of power to conceal these secrets. These claims are demonstrably false, and Owens knew they were false when she published them, yet she published them anyway. And the reason is clear. It is not the pursuit of truth, but the pursuit of fame. After being fired from the Daily Wire, Owens used these demonstrably false claims to promote her independent podcast, Candice. Owens' fan base has grown to 6.9 million followers on X and 4.4 million subscribers on YouTube. The most popular podcasts in the world have discussed her quote unquote investigation into the Macron's history. She launched a revamped website, CandiceOwens.com, fueled by her desire to make these specific false claims about the Macrons without adhering to content moderation policies. This is nothing new for Owens. She has built a brand on provocation, not truth. Owens labels herself as an independent, quote-unquote, investigative journalist. That's fucking laughable. While routinely peddling misinformation under the guise of legitimate reporting. She has promoted a range of conspiracy theories, including anti-vaccine falsehoods, long-debunked anti-Semitic tropes, such as blood libel and Holocaust distortion, going so far as to dismiss the atrocities of Joseph Mengel's medical experiments as mere propaganda. Her content is not intended to inform, but to inflame and attract attention through sensationalism and conspiracy theories. Owens published this series and related X posts with reckless disregard for the truth. Owens was repeatedly presented with credible, verifiable evidence disproving her claims, including documentation, public records, and direct outreach from the Macrons. Instead of correcting the record, she doubled down. At the time, Miss Macron had won French defamation claims against others who pushed these same baseless theories, underscoring both their falsity and defamatory sting. Owens knew this. Yet Owens, fully aware of the truth, had not only declined to retract her statements, but has actively expanded on them. These lies have caused tremendous damage to the Macrons. Defendants have subjected the Macrons to a campaign of global humiliation, turning their lives into fodder for profit driven lies. Owens has dissected their appearance, their marriage, their friends, their family, and their personal history, twisting it all into grotesque narrative designed to inflame and degrade. The result is relentless bullying on a worldwide scale. Every time the Macrons leave their home, they do so. I can't wait to see who the lawyers are on this. Don't tell me in the chat. Let it be a surprise. Okay. All right. Whew. Every time the Macrons leave their home, they do so knowing that countless people have heard and may believe these vile fabrications. It is invasive, dehumanizing, and deeply unjust. Faced with this relentless and unjustified smear campaign, the Macrons are left with no choice but to seek relief through this court to set the record straight, prevent further harm, and hold defendants accountable for their conduct. Parties and relevant non-parties. Plaintiff Emmanuel Macron is a French citizen. President Macron has been the president of France since 2017. Prior to being elected, Macron served as Minister of Economics, Industry, and Digital Affairs and Deputy Secretary General to the President. President Macron married Brigitte Macron in 2007. Plaintiff Brigitte Macron is a French citizen, the spouse of the current president of France, and a woman. Wow. She was born Brigitte Trognon in Amiens, France, on April 13, 1953. She is the youngest of 6 children. She gave birth to 3 children from her first marriage to André Louise Aguer. Miss Macron is a former teacher. In 2007, she married Emmanuel Macron. Defendant Candice Owens is a citizen of the United States and resident and domiciliary of the state of Tennessee. Through her marriage to George Thomas Stall Farmer, a British citizen, Owens also holds British citizenship. Oh, I didn't know that. Owens is considered a political commentator and is self-described conservative. Owens hosts a podcast called Candice, which is published on Owens' X account by Candice Owens LLC, on CandiceOwens.com by George Tom Inc., and across various other platforms. Owens is a member of the sole manager of defendant Candice Owens LLC. Owens maintains control of defendant George Tom Inc. Defendant Candice Owens LLC is a limited liability company. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Defendant George Tom Inc. is a registered for-profit corporation organized under the laws of the state of Delaware with its headquarters in Nashville. That is why this lawsuit is being filed in Delaware, because this for-profit corporation is registered in the state of Delaware. Non-party Jean-Michel Trunot is the older brother of Brigitte Macron. Jean-Michel was born in France on February 11, 1945, and he still lives there today. Non-party Xavier Broussard is an investigative journalist and editor of The Letter of Xavier Broussard. He was part owner of Fates Documents, a confidential newsletter that published false and defamatory claims regarding plaintiffs, similar to those stated by defendants. Owens claims the writings by Xavier Broussard inspired her false and defamatory claims. Broussard is Owens' primary source. Non-party Natasha Ray is an investigative journalist who has also spread the same false and defamatory claims about the Macrons. Ray originated the claims in France. As a result, Miss Macron prosecuted a libel case in France against both Natasha Ray and Amandine Roy. Ray is a key source for Owens and Broussard. Non-party Amandine Roy is a self-proclaimed spiritual medium who interviewed Ray in 2021 for a since-deleted YouTube video. Okay? It just took a crazy turn right there. Okay? Natasha Ray, investigative journalist. She originated the claims in France. Miss Macron prosecuted a libel case in France against Ray and another person, Amandine Roy. Roy is a key source for Owens and Broussard. Broussard is a key source for Owens. Roy is a self-proclaimed spiritual medium who interviewed Natasha Ray, the person who was sued for libel in France, in a 2021 now deleted YouTube video. In a 4-hour interview, Roy and Ray broadcast false and defamatory claims regarding Miss Macron, which prompted her libel claim in France. Roy is a leading source for Owens and Broussard. This is jurisdiction. Oh, he went to a Jesuit high school. Interesting. This is background information on both the president and the first lady, their childhood, their family, where they were born, proof of their existence as who they say they are, etc., etc. Goes into Macron's career. Around March 2021, Natasha Ray, who describes herself as an independent journalist, published on her now deleted Facebook profile false and defamatory claims alleging that Miss Macron is a transgender woman perpetrating identity theft. These baseless allegations initially failed to attract significant public attention, but that changed when Ray began working with Xavier Broussard. Broussard began publishing a multi-issue series entitled The Mystery of Brigitte Macron. That series recycled and expanded on numerous falsehoods, including the defamatory insinuations regarding Ms. Macron's alleged biological sex, allegations later amplified and expanded on by Candice Owens. In 2021, Ray collaborated with Broussard to co-author a publication, a fringe magazine reportedly influential within far-right circles in France, founded in 96, known by a known figure of the far right. In 2021, Ray appeared on the YouTube channel for Roy, a self-described spiritual medium. Roy conducted a 4-hour interview with Ray, during which Ray reiterated the defamatory claims that Miss Macron was in fact born as a male named Jean-Michel Trudeau, which is the actual name of Miss Macron's brother, who stole the identity of Brigitte. They also claim that Miss Macron's first husband never existed and that she did not carry her 3 children. The video went viral, amassing more than almost 500,000 views before it was removed from YouTube. So this is going through what was happening in France. After multiple victories against Ray and Roy at home in France, the Macrons thought these false claims had been put to bed. But as discussed below, Owens turned this flame into fire. To summarize this, they sued everybody in France that was in France, and they won. That's why things are deleted, no longer available, etc. They sued everybody in France and they won, and now they've come to the United States to sue Candice Owens. Hit the like button. Hi, good to see you. After multiple victories against Ray and Roy at home in France, the Macrons thought these false claims had been put to bed, but as discussed below, Owens turned this flame into a fire. Owens is a far-right conspiracy theorist who thrives on making outrageous claims, prioritizing shock value, and follower growth over truth or responsible discourse. And they go into her background. And when she turned from left to right, In 2016, Owens launched socialautopsy.com, a website that aimed to expose individuals responsible for online harassment by publishing their identities. The project was widely condemned across the political spectrum, with both conservative and progressive voices expressing concerns over privacy and potential misuse. In retaliation, critics shared Owens' personal information online. Owens attributed the widespread criticism and retaliation efforts to two progressives who had attempted to convince Owens to abandon the project. While Owens was being criticized by those who purportedly share her beliefs, she received support from prominent figures associated with the far right. Owens publicly stated that this was the catalyst for her ideological shift, remarking, "I became conservative overnight." 2016, she had completely flipped political sides. In 2019, Owens founded the Blexit movement, which encouraged Black Americans to leave the Democratic Party. That same year, she launched the Candice Owens Show, a podcast on YouTube where she interviewed conservative figures. In 2019, she married George Farmer, a British citizen, and the son of Lord Michael Farmer, a former treasurer of the Conservative Party. When the couple met, George Farmer was chairman of Turning Point UK and later became CEO of Parler, a far-right social media platform. As her visibility grew, Owens also became involved in French far-right politics. She was invited to be the headline speaker at the Convention de la something in Paris. The convention was organized, oh God, by the niece of Marine Le Pen, President Macron's political adversary. During her speech, Owens criticized Macron, calling him a weak leader. Shortly after the event, Owens tagged Le Pen's niece in a comment to an ex post showing a video of the two speaking. Charlie Kirk, Alex Jones, Nigel Farage, they're all in here. Kanye West. During Paris Fashion Week in the fall of 2022, Owens appeared with West wearing controversial White Lives Matter t-shirts, a slogan condemned by civil rights groups as a white supremacist response to the Black Lives Matter movement. West posted a photo of him and Owens wearing the shirts with the caption, "Everyone knows that Black Lives Matter was a scam. Now it's over, you're welcome." Around this time, West announced plans to buy Parler, Farmer's company. The deal collapsed shortly after Adidas ended its contract with West for making anti-Semitic comments. 2021, she joined the Daily Wire, where she hosted her talk show. Left the Daily Wire in 2024, following public clashes with Ben Shapiro over her anti-Semitism. In the wake of the October 7 Hamas attacks on Israel, Owens voiced strong pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel sentiments. Okay. Owens alleged that secret Jewish gangs commit horrific things in Hollywood, and on social media, she repeated the long-debunked blood libel myth that Jewish people drink the blood of Christian children. These comments justifiably received widespread condemnation. In June 2024, she independently relaunched her talk show under the name Candice. In September, she posted an interview with West, during which both claimed that Jewish people control the media. YouTube removed the video and suspended and demonetized her channel for violating hate speech policies. Despite this, Owens persisted in promoting conspiracy theories, including calling Nazi medical experimentation on Jewish people during the Holocaust bizarre propaganda. God, she's such a horrible damn person. These actions led the Australian government to deny her a visa in 2025, citing a risk that her presence could incite discord and concluding that Australia's national interest is best served when Candice Owens is somewhere else. That was this year. Australia's national interest is best served when Candice Owens is somewhere else. Well, Owens repeats the outlandish claim that Brigitte Macron was born a man on the Daily Wire precisely because she knew its shock value would boost her visibility. Just prior to her departure from the Daily Wire, Owens began promoting the false claim that Mrs. Macron was born a man. On March 11, 24, Owens published an episode of her The Daily Wire podcast, Candice Owens, titled Insane. This is the biggest political scandal in human history. It's definitely not. Which reported on the Brigitte Macron conspiracy theory that was making its way through the courts in France. Owens was the first to bring this theory to the US media and to a global audience. That same day, defendants announced the video in an ex post, repeating that it is the biggest scandal that has ever happened in politics and human history. Jesus Christ, these people. Owens claimed she learned about this theory from a 2021 debunking story published by Daily Mail. Owens falsely claimed the article was recent, despite it being published more than 3 years ago, likely to make it appear that she just happened upon this story rather than searching for a salacious conspiracy to increase viewership. Shockingly, Owens claimed there was no debunking whatsoever while this is moving through the courts, which she knows because she published that information. But that is false. The article included multiple photos of Mrs. Macron as a child and informed that separate journalists met both Miss Macron's brother, Jean-Michel, and Miss Macron's late ex-husband, Andre Louis. Owens omitted these facts. The next day, Owens followed up with another defamatory ex-post stating that she would stake her entire professional reputation on the fact that Brigitte Macron is in fact a man. Well, bitch, I guess that day has come. I guess that day has come because you are being sued by the president of France. Your house about to become a satellite embassy. Vacation home. On March 13, 2024, Owens released another episode of Candice Owens titled Media Meltdown, France's First Lady Exposed, repeating and expanding on her false claims. From the start, Owens could not keep her story straight. Well, I just said that. For example, on Owens' March 21, 24 appearance on the nationally syndicated radio show, The Breakfast Club Radio Show. What the fuck? Oh, God. Oh, God, what is happening? What is happening? What just happened? For example, on Owens' March 21st, 2024 appearance on the nationally syndicated radio show, The Breakfast Club, she said that the Macrons tried to sell to the press a fake photo which got debunked. It was actually Jean Michel's daughter. She has never repeated this claim because it is demonstrably false. After Owens was dismissed from the Daily Wire on March 22, 2024, the outlet did the right thing and immediately removed Owens' March 11 and 13 episodes, but each remains available online on other platforms. They've got the Breakfast Club's YouTube video in the footnotes. I hope they catch several strays. I really hope that they do. Hello, beautiful. Thank you for the contribution. I appreciate you very much. Helping us get to that goal. Helping us get to that good goal. Jesus. Hold on. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, anyway, I hope they catch several strays because they deserve it. They're trash. Okay. Despite the extensive, I'm just so scared. We're on page 23 and this is 219 pages. Despite the extensive and publicly available evidence concerning the truth about the Macron's identity and history, Owens persisted in spreading her false and defamatory allegations, even after her termination from the Daily Wire, reportedly due in part to her repeated dissemination of baseless conspiracy theories. Owens showed no sign of retracting or tempering her allegations. She continued promoting her preconceived narrative, undeterred by professional consequences or contradictory facts. Defendant took to X, declaring Mrs. Macron was a man. Fueled by sensational claims, the show quickly gained attention. This is her new show, earning the second spot on Edison's research list of top new podcasts for 2024. A man is what it says. On June 12, 24, Owens appeared on Piers Morgan Uncensored to push more false and defamatory claims about the Macrons, claiming even Piers Morgan, known for his provocative style, dismissed as absurd. Claims even Piers Morgan, known for his provocative style, dismissed as absurd. Owens doubled down the next day by republishing clips from the interview, repeating her false allegations on the June 13 episode of the Candice podcast. Recognizing that her false claims about the Macrons were driving significant attention, Owens escalated further. On June 17, 2024, defendants released an episode titled So, Is Brigitte Macron a Man? To repeat the discredited allegations from Owens' March episodes that had since been deleted by the Daily Wire. Seeking to drive traffic to her new venture and expand her claims, Owens opened by warning that the Macrons were going to come for her life. She then repeated the categorically false claim that the Macrons had deployed the Secret Service to intimidate and detain journalists to hide the truth of Miss Macron's transition and identity theft. Finally, she linked these allegations to a broader, equally baseless conspiracy theory that the world is being run by a gang of satanic pedophiles masquerading as Jewish people. Projecting, Owens claimed the Macrons were not behaving in ways one does when you are telling the truth. She claimed there are no photos from the first 30 years of Miss Macron's life, but contradicted herself just moments later by admitting that photos of a young Mrs. Macron had been released. She just does not believe they are real. The clips kept coming, so Owens kept going, seizing every opportunity to promote her salacious claims. Defendants released another episode mentioning the conspiracy on June 26, 24. On July 1, 24, Owens repeated her false claim in an episode encouraging viewers to reject scientific findings in favor of following their gut. On July 7, 24, Owens presented these false claims on The Jimmy Dore Show. Jimmy Dore is a stand up comedian turned political commentator who regularly promotes conspiracy theories. Never heard of him. I'm sure he's not funny. Defendants went so far as to create and sell merchandise to promote these claims. On July 8, 2024, defendants posted a photo on X of Owens in a t-shirt showcasing a fake Time magazine Man of the Year cover featuring Mrs. Macron. The shirt sold out. I can't say what I want to say. I can't say what I want to say. Owens went so far as to claim the 2024 Olympic opening ceremony, a tribute to Greek mythology, was designed to honor Brigitte Macron because she is transgender. This claim is not only absurd but self-defeating. Owens also insists Miss Macron's biological sex is a state secret, making such a tribute impossible even by her own logic. She then escalated her rhetoric, falsely alleging that the Macrons are part of a very small group of elite oligarchs who routinely practice homosexuality and pedophilia, believe in Baphomet, and worship a transgender deity that controls the world. This is yet another baseless, inherently implausible claim, contradicted by public evidence and common sense. Owens bolstered this claim by reposting on X a takedown of the opening ceremony and Miss Macron by another provocative figure, Archbishop Vajano, who had just been excommunicated from the Catholic Church. Yet again, searching for the most controversial spin, Owens posted on X that Brigitte Macron is a transvestite, calling it a demonic state secret, and falsely claiming that Miss Macron is a rapist. Owens used the conspicuous tag hashtag Christ is King to garner even more attention. Oh, God, I hope you burn in hell. Continuing to capitalize on the attention of sensational figures and known liars, Owens published a post by Alex Jones, a notorious defamer who owes $1.5 billion to the families of the Sandy Hook shooting victims for his malicious lies, and repeated her false allegations. Jones is one of the most unreliable sources imaginable. Owen stated that Brigitte Macron was born Jean Michel. He lived as a man for about 30 years before transitioning to Brigitte. While he lived as a man, he fathered 3 children. Again, Owens tagged hashtag Christ is King. Yet again, aligning with the most controversial figures, defendants brought on Andrew Tate, a self-proclaimed misogynist charged with rape and human trafficking. Owens proved that no amount of credible evidence would convince her to abandon her preconceived narrative when she platformed Tate's claim that the French election was rigged like the 2020 US election. Owens went further, claiming the Macrons are being blackmailed and they are being selected for these positions. She dismissed all critics by saying the Matrix is targeting her for exposing the supposed homosexuality and pedophilia taking place in the world. On August 30, 2024, Owens interviewed Poussard, the publisher of that defamatory French trash. Poussard became Owens' primary source, quite possibly her only source, for her future reporting. In the interview, Owens and Poussard agreed that the Macrons are perpetrating fraud regarding Miss Macron's identity and President Macron's political independence and integrity. They further claimed that Miss Macron's nephew resembles President Macron, and and inferred that the Macrons' relationship was incestuous. Poussard directly accused Miss Macron of abuse of a minor, impersonation, and identity theft. Owens endorsed, adopted, and expanded on these claims, linking them to her broader conspiracy theory involving an extensive network of satanic pedophiles. Every time Owens faces consequences for repeating these outrageous allegations, she refused to take responsibility and instead cast herself as the victim and blamed others. For example, on September 11, 2024, defendants embedded the August 30 episode in an X post claiming that YouTube removed the video for exposing the media's complicity in covering up pedophilia. When the truth is that Owens did not abide by YouTube's content moderation policies, which are designed to guard against misinformation and hate speech. In a letter to Owens on December 3rd, 2024, the December retraction demand explained the falsity of Owens' defamatory statements and included an abundance of evidence that Miss Macron was born a woman named Brigitte Trogneux, that she was not a blood relative of President Macron, and that the Macrons were not being controlled or blackmailed by any group of people. Owens did not respond to the December 3 email. Owens then repeatedly ignored multiple additional attempts by the Macrons to engage. The Macrons sent a follow-up email in December. How do you leave the president of France on read? I know, King. This is exactly what I'm saying. I've done a very good job protecting my algo because I had no idea. No idea. Candice Owens does not come into my algo unless she comes into overt hip hop spaces and says some outlandish shit about black people. Then it will usually leak in. But anything else that she does and any other outlandish shit that she says around the world, I don't see it. I don't see it. And I'm so grateful that I don't see it because that woman is a parasite, an absolutely pathetic individual. Just whoring herself for clicks and likes and attention. She is absolutely addicted to it. And it's a by any means strategy. And here we are. The Macron sent a follow-up email on December 18, which went unanswered. On January 8th, the Macrons contacted Owens' former legal counsel to facilitate communication, but received no response. Next, the Macrons attempted to personally serve the December retraction demand on January 9, 2025, but were first ignored, then blocked by Owens' counsel, who ultimately agreed to accept service by email. The December retraction demand explicitly denied each of Owens' claims and presented evidence that conclusively disproved them. The December retraction demand reminded Owens that the very Daily Mail article she cited as support for her conspiracies told readers that the Courrier Picard, a daily newspaper in France, Miss Macron's hometown, included Miss Macron's birth announcement. The birth announcement states that Brigitte was born on April 13, 1953, and that her siblings, Anne-Marie, Jean-Claude, Mary-Vaughan, Monique, and Jean-Michel, have great joy in announcing the arrival of their little sister, Brigitte. Defendants knew this information, but Owens omitted it from her series precisely because it contradicted the preconceived narrative she intended to tell. This omission was deliberate and is evidence of actual malice. The December retraction demand reminded Owens that in addition to a first communion photo and family photo, there are additional publicly available photos of Mrs. Macron as a child. In one such photo, Mrs. Macron is playing in a garden as a young girl. This photo was mentioned in the 2021 Daily Mail debunking article and the December retraction demand, but Owens never shared it with her viewers because it does not fit her preconceived narrative. I mean, that's definitely her. She looks exactly like herself. Yeah, she looks exactly like herself. The December retraction demand reminded Owens that Miss Macron's marriage to Andre Louis and his existence were well documented. The most obvious proof of his existence is the three children he fathered with Miss Macron, all of whom have acknowledged him as their father and adopted his last name. Initially, Owens falsely stated that there were no publicly available photos of him. The December retraction demand reminded Owens that a publicly available photo does exist of him from his wedding to Mrs. Macron. Since then, Owens has found at least one additional photo through her relationship with Xavier Poussard. To discredit this photo, Owens initially claimed that the subjects are not the former husband and Mrs. Macron, but Jean Louis with his first wife, Susan. The December retraction demand reminded Owens that Jean Louis debunked this claim, stating, "When Andre Louis got married, I was 8 years older, and I was working in Germany. There may be a slight family resemblance, but that's not to say that we are the same person." Indeed, Jean Louis has testified in French court that the photo is not of him and won a defamation claim against Ray and Roy on that basis. When Owens was confronted with this information, she changed her theory. But rather than accept this photo for what it is, an image of Miss Macron and her former husband, Owens concocted a new story. She changed course in the series to claim that the former husband is in the photo, but Mrs. Macron is not in the photo. Instead, Owens claimed that it was another woman named Brigitte and that Miss Macron refused to verify that the image was of her. Another lie. Owens initially told her audience that no journalist could find the former husband, but this is plainly false. The December retraction demand reminded Owens that another Daily Mail debunking article explained that reporters for several outlets, including the Mail, tracked him down several years ago, and he told them, "Bugger off." I can't believe that they were going at this woman for 7 months. Okay, so she proliferated an entire conspiracy around the death of Mrs. Macron's former husband. She has said that Mrs. Macron's brother, Jean Michel, is non-existent, doesn't exist. Those are photos. Jean-Michel also filed defamation, also prosecuted a defamation claim in France. Candice Owens is claiming that Mrs. Macron is the father of Mrs. Macron's children, not their mother, and that their mother is a different person altogether. That woman. These people look so French. It's ridiculous how French they look. On January 10, 2025, defendants posted on X that the Macrons had sent Owens a letter. That post demonstrated Owens' loose relationship with the truth. In her X post, Owens claimed that in mid-November, she made contact with a journalist claiming to have a trove of evidence to support the claim that the First Lady of France lived as a man named Jean-Michel before becoming and transitioning to Brigitte. Owens crafted the post to suggest that she had a new source. She disclosed that she had been receiving letters, so she proved that she was getting those letters months before that she was ignoring in emails. So she was seeing them, and she admitted that in one of her posts. She told her followers that she was going to post it, the December retraction demand, but she never did, and the reason is clear. The 33-page December retraction demand conclusively debunked Owens' claims and exposed her lies. Once again framing herself as a victim. In defendant's January 10, 2025 episode of Candice, Owens claimed the Macrons attempted to personally serve her with the December retraction demand to intimidate and terrify her. However, she neglected to tell her viewers that, in fact, the Macrons only resorted to personal service after she ignored multiple emails. Owens claimed the Macrons strenuously requested that she not publicize the December retraction demand and that the letter said all over it that it was not to be shared. Another, at best, gross exaggeration. The letter contained only a standard first page heading, confidential, not for publication or attribution. She refused to meaningfully engaged with the December retraction demand, intentionally led her audience to believe that the Macrons refused to say whether Miss Macron was born a woman or address Owens' other claims. But Owens knew that the December retraction demand addressed each of her claims and proved them to be false. Owens cherry-picked portions of the December retraction demand to read to her audience, but did not present the evidence against her claims that it contained because it contradicted her preconceived narrative. Wow. Wow, this is an illegal document. Indeed, Owens told her viewers that she had evidence disproving portions of the December retraction demand, but she was not going to tell you that day. Spoiler, she never presented it. The truth. On January 11, defendants posted on X that all correspondence between our legal teams will be available for the public to read. Owens has not lived up to this promise because she knows the legal correspondence contradicts her false claims. As with her other false allegations, she promised strong evidence that the first communion photo was not Mrs. Macron, but never delivered it. She also pretended the Macrons had not definitively denied her claims, ignoring the clear, contradictory evidence they already provided. Defendants continued to mock the Macrons' attempt to correct the record, demonstrating that Owens was not interested in the truth. She would rather make salacious and false claims to boost her revenue. On January 11, 2025, defendants reposted on X the false assertion that the December retraction demand admitted that Mrs. Macron raped President Macron. This was blatantly false, and Owens knew it. The truth was that the December retraction demand pointedly denied that the president was statutorily raped. This woman is a tick. She is a tick. That woman right there is the tick on an ass of a diseased cow. On January 12, defendants again reposted another claim that the December retraction demand admitted that Mrs. Macron raped President Macron and agreed it was indeed the most stunning admission from the letter. Owens repeated this claim on defendant's January 13, 2025 episode. Again, Owens knew these statements were false when she made them, but the truth did not matter when there were followers to be gained. She kept promising her followers, I'm going to upload this legal thing, I'm going to upload that legal thing. She never did. Owens falsely implied that the Macrons were responsible for the death of a journalist investigating them. Owens claimed that the Macrons have a dark side, and one by one, these independent journalists and researchers begin to suffer. Noting that this is a true story, Owens told her audience about Isabella Ferreira, who was investigating the Macrons' relationship and landed upon something bigger. And 2 weeks later, this Isabella is found dead. The authorities ruled Ferreira's death a suicide, but Owens claims that was almost impossible. The intended, unavoidable, and false implication is that the journalist was killed for investigating the Macrons. Owens repeated that the December retraction demand did not deny that Brigitte is trans or explicitly state that Brigitte Macron was born a biological woman. This is false. The December retraction demand explicitly stated that the Macrons were not concealing Mrs. Macron's biological sex and that she was born Brigitte, a woman. So they have privately sent this woman, this pathetic, piss take, tick on the ass of a diseased donkey of a woman, proof that the president of France is who he says he is. And the first lady of France is who she says she is. And she has taken those same documents and characterized them as the exact opposite of what they say to her audience. Just smearing her dirty, crusty ass all over everything. Just opposite day. Upside down land. They have initiated contact with this woman to prove that the First Lady of France was biologically born female and is who she says she is. And this woman said they admitted she raped her husband. She didn't deny being trans. She said she was biologically born female. The insidious, malicious, I don't like to ascribe things like monster and evil to human beings because I need people to remember that human beings are capable of the worst atrocities. Your neighbors, your friends, you, me. You don't know until you're in the situation. We're all capable. Humanity does these things. Not some inhumane monster, not some possessed entity within the soul of a person. It's who people are. And this bitch is demented. She is malicious. She willfully intends harm. And this is not about the president of France. I could give a fuck. As I said at the beginning, this is about us. This is about the conditions that we have to live in every single day in this country. Because the media landscape has to fight for space to publish and share the truth because biscuit heads, red pill niggas, and people who want to break the rationale of society for their own personal gain. This is the kind of shit that they do. You send them a birth certificate. Well, it's not the long form one. You send them a fucking wedding photo, and she has the nerve to say, oh, I was wrong. Yeah, the first husband is in the photo, but you know who's not? The first lady. It's not really her. It's another woman altogether. This is why they're slapping you in the face in court, because you're hysterical with disinformation. You are hysterical with disinformation, and you need to be slapped in the face. Not as an act of violence, but as an act of medical clarity. You must be out of your goddamn mind. Now, if you're not deficient, then you are malicious. You make everybody else's job and life harder. You make being Black in America harder. You make being Black on the planet harder. Because you are a whore for external validation. You don't care what you have to say. You have no principles. You have no integrity, not 1 ounce of integrity in your whole body. Not one. Not one. The pinnacle of a pathetic woman. The absolute pinnacle of a pathetic woman. And a dangerous one. And ain't nobody here for your misogyny or your, transphobic nonsense. This is an allied channel and a queer space. I don't care if you've given this channel $50. I don't care if you've been a subscriber or a member since day one. You will get bounced out of here, and there are no second chances. That should be abundantly clear in this space. Some of you think that the bad behavior of other people is an opportunity for you to justify your hateful rhetoric. Not here. Not here. I trust the mods. There will be no reconsideration. Pull yourself all the way together, because you're making everybody else's life difficult. And you're not that special. You're in the way. Your mindset is in the way. There is a space for you on the internet. It's not here. Reading about one of the spaces right now. Why don't you go over there? Osmosis blessed, not for nothing. If that woman says she's not trans or was not born a different sex or gender, why is it Candice Owens' job to prove otherwise? Why indeed? That is a fantastic rhetorical question. That is a fantastic rhetorical question. File that under, Abs's life law, whatever number it is. Who is you? Who is you? You are not special. You are not an authority on anything. You are just a dumb hoe with a microphone, desperate for people's attention, desperate for people to say, you're smart. I agree with you, so you must be right. No, that's not how facts work. That's not how facts work. Owens told the Macrons, bring this lawsuit. She continued, don't even waste your money on getting a courier to file. I'll file it for you. I'll run down to the courthouse and file the lawsuit for you, you thirsty biscuit hoe. Hoe. Spelt the French way. Hoe. The one with all the vowels and the X in it? Yes. Hoe. That's it. That's close enough. I'll put all the letters in there. We know. We know how to pronounce it. How? I might even cover your legal expenses. Oh, I think that's going to be extremely likely, ma'am. I think that's going to be extremely likely. Owens displayed her ill will towards the Macron, stating, I am disgusted by your relationship. You make me sick, Brigitte. This from a Maine Coon. Really? Who the fuck is you? Who is you to be a judge of the First Lady of France? This is absurd and way out of control. And you deserve to have your hoe ass slapped by the First Lady of France and the President of the whole country. The whole country. The whole country. The way I had to stop myself when I first pulled up this document out of the email and say, what? That's the president of France, like the right now president of France. I literally was like, when your brain knows something, but it at the same time, it's like, what? I was literally like, Google check me. Who's the president of France right now? It was like, this nigga right here. I was like, bro, what is happening? You're being sued by the president right now, the right now president, the one right now, and his wife, the first lady, right now. Heads of state, you're being sued because you decided I want to stake my entire professional reputation on my personal, unfounded, and completely disproven belief that the French First Lady is a man, a rapist, and that they're a part of some grand conspiracy that also has to do with devils and deities that control the planet but masquerade on Earth as Jewish people. You better plead psychosis. Psychosis. She finally responded January 16th to the December retraction demand. She defiantly reaffirmed her demonstrably false statements. She provided no evidence or justification to support her defamatory claims. Instead, she attempted to trivialize the matter by insisting that the Macrons reframe their denials as responses to 21 questions, an apparent effort to convert her baseless investigation into a publicity stunt. Owens then misled her audience by claiming that because she had posed these questions, the Macrons could never prove actual malice. Sorry. She failed to disclose, however, that the Macrons had already addressed the substance of her questions within the December retraction demands. You want to talk about somebody is downhill skiing. I don't know what gives you the fucking gall. I really don't know what gives people the fucking gall. And so after the December retraction demand, after the back and forth, after taking it out of context on air, after responding to them in writing, after all of that, after they have provided her with, here's proof that what you're saying is a lie, after all of that, that's when she starts the podcast series with the merch. The series began with an introductory episode, followed by 6 chapters, and concluded with an epilogue. Throughout the series, Owens made the false and defamatory allegations that Mrs. Macron, born a man, stole another person's identity to become Brigitte. I think I've been saying Brigitte. I think it's Brigitte. Sorry. I'm sure there are some people from France who are like, Jesus, what do you want from me? My French teacher was racist as hell. I hated that class. Hated it. Anyway. The first installment, titled An Introduction, premiered on January 31. Defendant announced the introductory episode on X. The episode can be found on CandiceOwens.com, YouTube, Spotify, Audible, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. A transcript is available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podscribe. Becoming Brigitte. Just before the premiere of the introduction, Owens claimed that her website was attacked by a state-level actor to prevent its publication. The implication was that the Macrons were trying to prevent the series from premiering. Owens told readers she would provide proof, but she never did. Notwithstanding the lack of proof, Owens repeated these false claims. Throughout the introductions, Owen made the overarching false claim that the Macrons are surrounded by a syndicate of criminals that helps them conceal their secrets, which proves they themselves must be criminals. Owens made the following specific defamatory claims. Brigitte Macron's alleged brother, I believe Brigitte Macron is, okay, so this is just a bunch of shit that I'm not even going to, yeah. So the introduction set the tone for the series and left no doubt that Owens intended to portray the Macrons as liars and criminals. She told viewers that the Macrons are in fact lying to the public about Brigitte Macron's past identity, and they would not believe Miss Macron was a woman by the time the series concluded. She promised her viewers that the series would get more sensational as it went on, noting the introduction of the tip of the iceberg, and the Macrons are involved in pedophilia, pedastry, incest, lies, and trying to thug people via courts. Owens juxtaposed her claims of criminal activity alongside insinuations of foul play in the case of Isabella Ferreira the journalist, to intentionally imply that the Macrons were involved in her death, baseless and defamatory accusations. Owens bolstered and escalated the false claims with concern for her own safety and false accusations of the Macrons weaponizing state institutions to silence critics. Owens solidified her claims of abuse of power and criminal activity by stating that Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron come from a circle, a syndicate of real power, old money power. Owens painted herself as the victim for her morally superior efforts to expose what's happening with Brigitte Macron. She claimed that she was the victim of defamation by the media, which is protecting state criminals, such as the Macrons. They directly addressed with Owens, or attempted to directly address with her, the false claims about being involved in the death of Ferreira. Owens never wrote back, but instead used the demand as content for her series. She chose to publicly deliver her reply to the Macron's February retraction demand, so there was a December and then a February retraction demand in the next episode of the series rather than issue a direct reply to the Macrons. Further evidence, she prioritized publicity over truth. Episode 1, Gaslighting the Public. Defendants announced the release of Episode 1 on X. It can be found everywhere. Episode 1 was premised on Owens' false claim that the Macrons have manipulated and controlled the media, even resorting to outright lies and fraud to conceal their past and the nature of their relationship. Owens made... I literally told you guys every journalist tries to touch this story, something happens to, okay? And it is a fact that Isabella Ferrer was working on this story, had messaged according to her friends saying that she had a bombshell about Emmanuel Macron and appreciate the French press has reported on this. And then she was found dead floating in a river, okay? Or a pond, whatever it was. I believe Brigitte Macron was born a biological male, okay? And then transitioned into female. That is my belief. I don't know how many times I can say it. And you will never, ever, ever get me to transform my opinion that you were groomed by the person you eventually married in 2007, Brigitte Macron. I believe she's a man. Jesus Christ. Owens attempted to bolster her false claims based on Miss Macron's clothing. Owens pointed out that Mrs. Macron is dressed by the artistic director of Louis Vuitton's women collection, whom Owens describes as the main promoter of transgenderism and androgyny in the fashion world, and who specializes in transgenderism. Owens suggested that this is evidence that Mrs. Macron must be transgender, ignoring the obvious truth that many women appreciate and wear Louis Vuitton. This manufactured meaning is a telling example of the quality of Owens' evidence. Most shockingly, Owens outright lied about the December retraction demand to support her false claims of statutory rape and pedophilia. Twisting facts to fit her preconceived narrative, Owens stated that the December retraction demand was an admission that it is statutory rape. This assertion is factually and legally incorrect and further republishes the false allegation of criminal conduct. Owens told the Macrons that no amount of evidence will ever get her to transform her opinion that President Macron was groomed by Mrs. Macron and that Mrs. Macron was born a man. This flatly refutes her claim that her goal is to inform her audience of the facts. Episode 2. false information about both of their backgrounds. Towards the end of episode 2, Owens turned her gaze towards President to begin seeding her eventual claim that he is a product of MK Ultra or a similar government mind control program. MK Ultra was a secret CIA program that conducted human experiments to develop mind control techniques. Blah blah. She suggested nothing is known about his childhood. It's a black hole. She suggested that his upbringing may be linked to a clandestine government plot because his father was a psychiatrist and his mother was a pediatrician. Owens also introduced the false claim that the Macrons are committing incest. Specifically, she distorted President Macron's demeanor during a media interaction to claim it's all starting to feel a bit, I don't know, incestuous to me. Because again, remember, she's saying that the president is actually his wife's nephew. More MK Ultra, Manchurian Candidate, throwing suspicion about the first husband's death, more on alleged incest. She displayed the side-by-side photo of the president and Brigitte's nephew, telling her audience these two people who are not supposed to be in any way related look way too much alike. Jesus. Some fake numerology to connect the president to MK Ultra. Said he was a Manchurian Candidate. Dragged Jeffrey Epstein into the mix, saying there's an Epstein connection in this story. We just haven't gotten to it yet. It's all connected. Episode 4, named after Brigitte's brother, released on Brigitte's brother's birthday. Today is Jean-Michel's birthday. In other words, happy birthday, Brigitte. And then there's a bunch of crazy shit that she said. I'm not going to repeat it. So in this episode, she's focused on identity theft and fraud. To further amplify her identity theft claims, Owens concocted a theory that Miss Macron gave an interview under the name Veronique an openly transgender individual in 1977. Owens said the voice was exactly the same as Mrs. Macron's, according to an AI voice analysis. But Owens admitted she doesn't know much about these softwares and provided no evidence that the analysis even exists. Owens used this interview to bolster her claim that Jean Michel transitioned to Miss Macron because Jean Michel was married to a woman named Veronique. Shit makes no sense. Charles Manson's name is in here. She asked for donations to protect her children from predatory people like the Macrons. Episode 5, Who created Emmanuel Jean-Michel Macron? Episode 5 is premised on Owen's false and defamatory claim that Emmanuel Macron was specially selected and groomed to be the leader of France so that an unknown secret group of elites could control him. She said a bunch of crazy nonsense. More Manchurian candidate nonsense, handpicked and groomed by shadowy elites. Most of what you think you know about Emmanuel Macron is just objectively not true, and suggested that his entire life was staged for this role. She tied this alleged grooming to the Rothschild family, a prominent Jewish banking family with historic influence in European finance, which has long been the target of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and harmful tropes. She told viewers she would not say much about the Rothschilds so the episode doesn't get hit on YouTube, but suggested they look up proven ties to Jeffrey Epstein and scandals involving pedophilia and incest surrounding them. Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, they're all MK Ultra mind control experiments. Episode 6, Candice Owens and a French conspiracy theorist. We're only on page 73, and I'm skimming extremely hard. Purple unicorns, another idiot. They did a little photo analysis on the pod. This woman is a real piece of work. She said, quote, I do think, and this is rather conclusively, that the world is sort of waking up to this concept that leaders are selected and primed and groomed and sort of inserted into powerful positions. You don't have the foggiest idea of what you're talking about. The epilogue, oh God, I forgot there was another episode. Owens told her listeners that in all the previous episodes, she had stuck strictly to the facts. The epilogue is premised on Owens' false and defamatory claim that a family member molested President Macron and that President and Mrs. Macron are committing incest. Now she has Brigitte Macron as President Macron's father. This is an exhaustive. They sent a third retraction demand. That brings us to the present. Jesus Christ. We got 82 pages of the past. And that brings us to the present, July 1, 2025. They sent another retraction demand. File your lawsuits, my friend. That was her response, her public response. File your lawsuits, my friend. We're not getting in line. We've said file your lawsuits, my friend. Oh, and this is the internet's favorite thing. Owens then claimed the July retraction demand was the result of the Macron's law firm just running up the tab and taking their money and lying to them about what defamation means in America. Lying to them. Maybe it is the law firm being sleazy and running up the tab. A lot of you love to say that about law firms when you don't understand, number one, the law. Drake v. UMG. They're just taking his money. You don't have the foggiest idea what you're talking about. I think that the president of France can find some lawyers who can give him the rundown on how defamation per se actually does work in the United States of America, Candice. Lying to them about what defamation means in America. The Macrons never received a direct response to the July retraction demand. So they're like, we addressed everything in our original communications to her in December. It's July. She's still going. She has not only refused to retract, but she has taken all of the information that we have sent her for 7 months and said it is the exact opposite of what it is that we sent her. We sent her something denying sexual abuse or incest. She publicly said the letter, the retraction demand letter admits it. That's that's actual malice. That is a malicious fucking person. I hate malicious people. So here, paragraph 190, even setting aside the multiple retraction demands, there is overwhelming evidence of actual malice. Yep. Owens has openly demonstrated her ill will and retaliatory intent towards the Macrons, further evidencing actual malice. Owens admitted that she initially intended to release only a single episode of her podcast series. However, upon receiving the December Retraction demand, which directly refuted her false claims, only Owens responded not by reassessing the accuracy of her reporting, but by escalating her defamatory campaign. Now we're doing a whole series because how dare you? Making clear that the series was motivated by personal animus rather than any legitimate journalistic purpose. She further warned that if the Macrons were to contact her again regarding her false accusations, she would retaliate by producing a second season. These statements reflect a deliberate intent to harm, not a good faith effort to report the truth. Oh, they're going to whoop her ass. They're going to whoop her ass. Financial motivation. In Owens' September appearance on Piers Morgan, she flatly admitted that she relies on fan donations to keep her podcast up and running since being demonetized by YouTube. She claimed that YouTube demonetized her account because she was exposing the global ring of satanic pedophiles, currently through the Macron conspiracy theory. In reality, YouTube had demonetized Owens' account for violating its hate speech policies. Asks for money in every episode of the series. She claims that she is engaged in a mission to reveal the truth and that efforts to hold her accountable are part of a broader attempt to suppress free speech and religion. And then here's how they go through and talk about how it's all been amplified, and naturally Joe Rogan's name is in here. I can't wait until the day he gets sued. On March 22, 2025, Rogan discussed the series and said, Macron's a man. Yeah, Brigitte Macron's a man. Owens got me hook, line, and sinker. God, he's so stupid. She's got a 6-hour presentation on how Brigitte Macron is a man. I think she's right. In support of that claim, Joe Rogan stated, Candice Owens would be getting sued right now instead of they would be suing her right now instead of trying to bribe her. Instead of trying to give her money to shut the fuck up, they would sue her. Well, The Macrons have never offered Owens any type of bribe or money settlement to stop speaking about them. Tom Segura, who is disgusting individual. So this is, again, they're just going through how it spread through the right-wing sphere. Theo Vaughn, another dumbass motherfucker. He's got to be one of the stupidest, most dangerous people on the planet with a microphone. Just void of reasonable intelligence. Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson Network. Some other idiot on there who has a show. Just a who's who. Of all the people who tell lies for a living. Yeah, they documented everything. Howie Mandel, good. That's another one. He's another one. An absolutely pathetic human being who should not have a microphone. People think being stupid is cute. She did some false reporting. Defamation, count 1. Paragraphs 1 through 248. Yeah. We already know because we've seen it. So let's just get through this document. Count 2, false light. We've talked about false light before. We covered false light in the Megan Thee Stallion versus Milagograms. And they give examples there. Defamation by implication. Introduction episode. Yep, defamation by what was not just what was said. That was the first defamation. This defamation is defamation by what you implied in what you said. Count 4, another defamation. Count 5, false light again. Defamation by implication again. Count 7, defamation, episode 2. They just go through everything. False light, episode 2. Defamation, episode 3. False light. Episode 4. Defamation. Defamation. Yeah, they're getting them for literally everything that she has said out of her mouth. Every defamatory statement. Count 13, false light, episode 4. Defamation by implication. Episode 5. That's why this lawsuit is so fucking long. They're literally the amount of work that went into this document. Oh my God. The amount of work that went into this document. Because they have cataloged everything that this woman has said about them, and they are suing her for everything that she has said about them. Everything. 18. $19 false light. $20. God. The epilogue episode. They've got real strong faith in this case as public figures. We're about to get to the end. Prayer for relief. They want actual and presumed damages to be specified at trial. Punitive or exemplary damages, all costs, disbursements, fees, and interest as authorized by law. Additional remedies as the court may deem just and proper. Demand for a jury trial. Who did it? Who did it? Who did it? Not familiar with Farnan. Clairlock firm is vaguely familiar to me, but it's not a name that I expected to see, which doesn't mean anything. Okay, we got to the end of the damn document. Took 2 hours and 5 minutes. We definitely didn't read the whole thing. So that is wow. I'm so happy. I am so happy that we have come to this day. Yeah, I am so happy that we have come to this day. I talk about this broader topic and broader issue of disinformation and how it is weaponized, you know, again, pretty much on an ongoing basis. If you follow Things Fall Apart, that's pretty central to it. But again, this has been coming up in terms of, you know, the infiltration of the culture and how things get cast by people who, excuse me, have figured out that for an immediate fix, without thinking of long-term consequences, they can say whatever they want on social media and they'll get a reaction out of people. And they'll get the interaction from people that they so desperately, pathetically crave and need to feel like an important human being on the planet because they know they're actually a pathetic person. So all of this is on a spectrum that is connected. It's all connected. And it's all dangerous, infuriatingly dangerous. And if I'm the first lady, I'm smashing brown liquor glasses mad. Absolutely furious. Our attorneys send you absolute proof that refutes your claims. And then you have the nerve to go on the internet and fix your face to characterize what we sent you as the exact opposite of what we sent you. That is maddening behavior. It's insulting. It's arrogant. Completely disrespectful. Or you just playing with folks. And then you got the nerve to fix your face to say they don't understand how defamation law works in America. You got Joe Rogan, the dumbest motherfucker on the internet. He is a stupidity god. And all the stupidest people worship him. Worship him. He is the dumbest motherfucker on the internet. And you've got him saying, she convinced me. The First Lady of France is a man. And it must be true because she says they're sending her threatening letters and trying to pay her off instead of suing her. They should be suing her. If they were suing her, then maybe I would believe that. Are you fucking kidding me? And millions upon millions of people around the world are exposed to it and believe it because they have been conditioned to be dumb. She's just out there vomiting on the internet and then peeing in the vomit and then serving it into bowls and telling people vegan porridge. That's what this is. This is vegan porridge. Absolutely maddening. I have dealt with maddening people who refuse to behave in an upstanding, decent manner, who will do anything, who will say anything. And two of those people almost sent me over the edge at different parts in my life and career. Almost sent me over the edge because how dare you? How dare you take a fact and twist it into a lie? When truth doesn't matter anymore, when facts don't matter anymore, when they can be twisted in that way, you will see people act out. You will see people take more aggressive steps to protect themselves and to hold other people accountable. You can't have a safe, functioning society without truth and facts. It's not possible. Eventually, things fall apart. Eventually, the lies become consequential in the lives of other people. And eventually, they get to the point where they've had enough. And then they fight back by any means necessary or by any means available to them. And in this case, the president and the first lady of France filed a fucking lawsuit in the United States of America. Against a master manipulator, a liar, and a fraud. Demetrius, thank you for the $5 contribution. This is exactly the type of thing I like to see Miss Owens in the news for. I'm so excited to get into this. Me too. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I happy clapped. I was like, well, what am I going to wear? What am I going to wear? This is incredible. I sent it to a couple other people. Have you seen this shit? Stopped a couple people in their tracks. Like, what? Is this real? Is this real? Is this real? And yeah, I'm going to be talking about it. And yeah, I'm going to be following it. And yeah, it is going to be updated on this channel because this is important. It is significant and it is consequential to all of our lives. Like I said, fuck the president of France. I don't give a good goddamn about him or his wife, quiet as is kept. I don't agree with France's main, tenet of once you are a French citizen, you're nothing else. Also, they're Islamophobic as hell. And I could come up with 10,000 other reasons why. I have issues with the current president or the long-standing government of France. This ain't about that. So if people want to act confused about who do I root for, this is not the channel for you, because you have to come into this conversation with a baseline understanding and some background awareness of the issues at hand and how they have been discussed on this channel. And if you like to sit on a fence, baby, split your ball sack somewhere else. My fence is electric, and I will zap your ass off. We don't do fence sitting here. Okay? The only thing that matters above all and everything else is truth and fact. And without that, we have nothing. Melvin Matthews, thank you for the $5 super sticker. Angie later, thank you for contributing to the popcorn fund. I appreciate you. Caroline, thank you for the contribution. Selena, thank you for the contribution. Y'all from across the pond. Spooky Ariel, thank you. Melvin Matthews again, thank you. Kaylee, hello, beautiful. Melvin Matthews again. What the fuck? Yep. Island Girl, thank you, beautiful. Thanks, Absa. We will need a cleanse after this fucker. He's such a terrible human being. She is a horrible human being. And she will go down in history as a horrible human being who did real damage to Black people in America. She's horrible. Absolutely a detestable human being. I will say that with my full chest till the day that I die or until she bends the goddamn knee. Mixtress Monica, hey beautiful, how you doing? $5 for the random cats and gummies. I appreciate you. Well, he'll give you about 28, so you'll be good. I'm gonna have to dance to Tyler after this. Oh gosh. Is there an ABSA quote book somewhere? No. Just the 2 books I'm working on, now. Also, I hurt my wrist. Everything that I do, even doing nothing. Okay? I'm moving my elbow. My wrist hurts. My wrist hurts. Moving the mouse, my wrist hurts. What did I do to my wrist? Nothing. I picked up a glass and then all of a sudden I received shooting pains and I said, "Oh, my wrist hurts." And it's only gotten worse since then. But anyway. I hate to be graphic, but sometimes you got to. Why are you all up in my business? Why are you all up in my? You mean, do I do this thing? I don't. No, I don't. I sleep with my wrists flat. I think that this is a mischaracterization and you should not see it that way. Just the whole mess says, "I'm sure I'm late and out of context." And I know that you've already apologized. So nobody jump on Jess for the all caps because Jess already said, "Oh, my bad. I'm sure I'm late and out of context, but I just think it sucks that being trans is defamation worthy, like we're some sort of pariah." That is a complete mischaracterization of the issue. And you should not see it that way or take it personally. Trans or being transgender is not being weaponized as a slur by the Macrons in this lawsuit. It doesn't have anything to do. It could be that she said that Mrs. Macron is actually German and not French and is the descendants of Nazis. It could be that she said and completely asserted as fact and fabricated information to say that the First Lady is anything other but who she is. That is defamation. That is defamation. It is a denial of who she is. And anybody who is sensitive about, and I am speaking for myself, or protective of what their actual identity is and fights for the protection of their actual identity and fights against and stands up to people who say, oh, I don't think you're that thing because I'm not used to seeing people that look like you be also that thing. I don't give a fuck if you're used to it or not. That's what I am. You don't get to deny me. You don't get to question me. You don't get to diminish me. You certainly don't get to go out to an audience of millions around the world and intentionally mischaracterize who I actually am. You don't get to do that. So it really doesn't have anything to do with being trans or the Macron saying, oh, this is harmful because it's trans. That is nowhere in that lawsuit. What is harmful is the hijacking, weaponization, and malicious lies that say this person is not who she purports to be and is committing a fraud on the French taxpayer in doing so. That is defamatory. So this simple reduction of, oh, they're suing because they don't want to associate with being trans because they're transphobic, that is a reduction, that is an oversimplification, and it's unfair. And it's ironic how unfair it is, because this is actually about actual identity. Let it have the nuance that it deserves. Let it have that. Yeah. Yeah, because it's a simple reduction, and it's understandable how that simple reduction gets made, right? It takes one influencer, and this is not the first time. And I've definitely seen trans and queer influencers on social media when these kinds of controversies come up and there's somebody famous saying, I'm not trans. You have somebody who is extremely reactionary saying, well, what the fuck is the problem with being trans? Bitch, nothing. I said, I'm not trans and I demand to be respected for who I actually am. And this person trying to cast me as something that I'm not, trans, black, white, male, female, Asian, an immigrant, a citizen, a whatever it is trying to hijack who I actually am for their own purposes and to hurt me. This is why I always say we are going to go through the whole thing before we get to the simplification. Because the nuance of the steps matter, and the nuance of the why matters. The ends does not always justify the means, and people make a great amount of assumption. And beautiful, I appreciate you making the comment and being the teachable example and willing to, say, hey, maybe I need some additional perspective on this, right? Because we all need that check for ourselves of like, let me expand how I'm thinking of it, not take it so personally, and not allow myself to get triggered and weaponized into being a bystander in this situation, not being able to see the forest through the trees, or worse, picking the wrong side of the issue because I didn't realize that somebody actually weaponized my trigger points about my own identity and my own experience into this situation. When you go through the document, that is not reflected anywhere in there. It is not reflected anywhere in there. That this association with being trans is defamatory and unacceptable. No, it's you lying about my whole ass life, my parents, my grandparents, who gave birth to me, whose titty I sucked when I was a baby, who sucked my titties when they were a baby after they came out of my vagina. I'd sue the holy hell out of somebody if they did that to me, just off the basis that I gave birth to my children. It is my proudest accomplishment. And if somebody tried to strip me of that or play that legacy, I'd fuck them up. I'd fuck them up. There's no question. You're not going to do that. You don't get to do that. You have no idea what I went through as a parent. You have no idea what I sacrificed, what I lost, what I gained. And you don't get to sully the reputation and the legacy of the beautiful humans that I have birthed into the world. You also don't get to sully my titties. You got to prepare yourself, beloved. You got to prepare yourself. I was trying to get there. Titties shall never be sullied, damn it. I don't care where you got your titties from. Okay? I don't care if they're fat. I don't care if they're silicone. I don't care if they're held on with tape. I don't care if they're held up like mine are. Your titties, damn it. Don't let nobody sully them. This is hilarious. One day we gonna accidentally see her titties. Y'all did see a bra strap one day and just a little bit of curve, of the top of my bra. It was an exceptionally hot day. I had an extra button open, but no, I ain't lost it that much. Y'all ain't even meet the chat goal. Why would I flash a titty? I ain't even show y'all no ankle yet. It is one of my actual nightmares that I'm not paying attention. And something accidentally gets caught up one day and whoop. Yeah. But, the gods are going to protect me. They know my good intention. They're going to protect me. And you know what? If I showed a titty, even by accident, I wouldn't be ashamed of it. Because I'm not ashamed of nakedness or breasts or talking about sex or blah, 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 blah. But I got a bra on. That's one of the reasons why if I'm not wearing a bra, let me go get one, put one on before the live. You just all kinds of accidents can happen. So, and once it's live, child, it's out there. So I'm like, let me make sure everything's properly covered to the best of my ability. But I ain't tripping. I breastfed children in public. So I don't care. I don't care. Yep. Adult seesaw time made it into the shorts and I don't regret it and I'm not taking it down because everything I said was true. I love an early morning play date. You'll have to run it back to the beginning of the live when you get the chance because, we've been here so long, I can't really remember, but I'm pretty sure I did open this live in the way that you suggested. So just so that you get the satisfaction of that experience. Run it back some point. Thank you, D2B2 for the $5. Gosh, X, please explain to biscuit heads in the back how this has merit. The UMG one may not. Well, here's what I'll say, okay? That I thought of instantaneously when I said, I'm going to have a live about this. the first thing that I thought of is how up in arms people were about a foreigner, Drake, using the American legal system to, infringe upon somebody else's First Amendment rights. But a lot of people were upset. How could this foreigner, who's not even American, file a lawsuit in an American court? Now, we've got people who are like, hallelujah, the Macrons have entered the chat. And those very same people are angry that Drake has the ability to file a lawsuit. This is the American civil judicial system. And where you commit the harm is where the court has jurisdiction over you. And Candice Owens committed these harms in the United States of America. And so they have sued. But let me be also clear that the practice of non-citizens suing people, corporations, or countries is as old as chattel slavery. So if we truly follow the logic that only certain people, only under certain conditions, should be allowed to access the American or international judicial system, we are enslaved today like it never ended, because it wouldn't have. Enslaved people were citizens of nowhere on the planet. Nowhere. They sued individuals, families, family businesses, cities, counties, towns, law enforcement, elected officials, the legislature, states, and the United States of America. And they did this in other places around the world. That's more interesting to me than which of these cases has merit. That is a 4-hour conversation. And I'd prepare a deck and a whole, I'm type A, baby. I'd have to give you a presentation. And it would be really boring. But that's what's most interesting to me is, and I say this all the time, we are hypocrites as human beings. We contradict ourselves and the things that we think are our moral positions and our social positions on a regular basis. So I would just wager that this is one of those situations where the Canadians should not be allowed to do this. The different side of the same coin is, but these people should. They're both accessing ultimately the same system. Does one have more factual merit than the other? Sure, that's this one. We have yet to see what the legal merit of Drake's lawsuit is because we don't have a decision on motion to dismiss. It's been 24 days, in case you're wondering. Yes, I'm counting. Yes, I'm fucking counting. I don't know, and I don't care. It's irrelevant to me. I don't know. I don't care. It's completely irrelevant to me, and it has no bearing on his claims whatsoever. Yeah, I don't know. Don't care. Just the whole mess. You are a part of this channel's community. No exception. Period. And people speaking from their own lived experience is what helps us all broaden our understanding. And we can all take a beat to check ourselves. And I'm just glad it's a safe enough space to be able to do that. And, keep it respectful and keep you feeling like you can come back. It doesn't matter to me if non-trans people feel like this space must be welcoming to trans people. I don't give a shit what they think. What I care about is, do trans and queer people feel that it is a safe space? And safe space is not the default status of any space, right? It's not a static state either. It's fluid, it could change, but it's not something that is inherent. It's not inherently safe because of, and this is anywhere for anybody who's like, how do we create safe spaces? They are not inherent. They don't exist just because you do. They don't exist just because that is your intention. You have to actually defend them. You have to actually check people, ban people, repeat your disclaimers of, this is a queer safe space. I don't care how long you've been here, how much money you've contributed to the channel. I will ban your ass and not look back. So thank you. Thank you. Safety requires action consistently. So in terms of Drake's lawsuit, the judge has 90 days. I think it's going to be closer to around the 30-day mark. It could be this Friday. It could be this week. Listen, I think about this all the goddamn time, okay? I think about this all the goddamn time. And let me check, make sure I don't speak out of turn. Let me check something real quick on the docket, make sure I don't speak out of turn. Okay, so this is my greatest indicator that it's coming. Thank you. Appreciate you. Yes. Globally indexed figure. You're lucky to be in my presence. Thank you for the support. I appreciate you. I didn't, but I saw this. Demetrius asked a really good question, and I hope Abs sees it. I don't see it. But you can repeat it. Oh, it was a super chat? Oh, well, then I'll see it. Hold on. Give me a second. Oh, thank you. Oh, a couple super chats have come in. Che E, thank you very much. Mixtress Monica, oh wait, gummies cost more than that. Let me put 5 on it. Appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you, fam. Demetrius, I'm coming back to you. Gosh X, touched on that one. TBD2B2, thank you again. Melvin Matthews and Diaz. Okay, so ABSA, how do you think the results of this suit will be if she loses as compared to Alex Jones losing his suit against the Sandy Hook families? I mean, he's the president of France. She's cooked. But this is going to be messy. I was trying to figure out which word I wanted to use. It's going to be a messy end because I think of all of the situations that we've seen. Alex Jones, Tasha K, Milagro I just pick one, okay? One that I haven't come up with. Where we see people flail about and they get real big and braggadocious in their eventual fall, right? Or loss. I think that Candice Owens is going to fight like holy hell against this lawsuit. I think now's the time where she's going to go hire some real attorneys who can fight the president of France and his wife. Ultimately, yes, I think she is going to lose. Now, listen, I don't even know if this lawsuit has been served on Candice Owens yet. It's been filed. I don't know if it's been served. I'm completely disinterested in her response because I can guess what it's going to be. It's probably going to be pretty much basically what Milagro Graham's response was when she attempted to have Megan Thee Stallion's lawsuit dismissed, which was on procedural defect, and I'm covered under the First Amendment. So I'm sure that's probably what she's going to go for. She's going to go for procedural defect, and she's going to claim that she's covered under the First Amendment. Delaware is not the place that's going to give you that kind of argument. So there's a lot of procedural shit that's going to go on. Blah, 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 blah. She's going to lose. She's going to lose. I do not believe that. Well, let me say this. I believe that, especially given the timeline of interaction that they've outlined in their lawsuit and everything that it is that they tried to do, everything that they presented her with that she ignored or refused to even represent accurately in her own show, all of that is evidence of real malice. And she corners herself. Her words being used against her in that way as evidence, she corners herself. So I think that they easily surmount the, protected speech against public figures, people in the public eye. I think they easily get past that. And she will say that. That will be her lead argument, will be either jurisdiction or some other procedural thing, or I'm protected under the First Amendment because these are public figures and they have to put up with what anybody says about them. And that's not true. And the fact that they took so many attempts, I think they get past that. I think they easily cross that bar. Easily. So then in terms of, yes, I think they take everything that she has. I think they take everything that she has. $1 for every view, every click, every read, everything that she's put out. That's a substantial amount of money. It's cash, it's not assets. So this could ruin her for sure. This could ruin her. Separately, her husband is rich. But this could ruin her. And where's she going to go? There's nowhere that she can go. And I think this has become a personal project for the First Lady of France, and I cheer her. Get him, sister. You have the resource to be able to do that anywhere on the planet, so go on and do that. That will definitely help make America great again. You shut up, this biscuit head ass woman who is a threat to democracy here and abroad. They filed in Delaware because one of the parent companies that owns these media assets that Candice Owens has created is registered in Delaware. Misconstrue. So she's on an island unto herself at this point in time. And yeah, I hope they hand her her whole dirty, stanky, crusty ass because she deserves it. And the irony of this entire situation is that at some point in time in the last year, MAGA discovered an old picture of Candice Owens when she didn't have any hair, and they immediately did a full special report going through her entire every inch of that photo, from her little black girl cut, every centimeter down to the end of that frame, Adam's apple, everything. And isn't it interesting that then she got to take that and then cast it onto somebody else? There were people that wanted Candice Owens stripped publicly to prove her gender when they saw an old school photo of her. This witch hunt bullshit, and I've warned about that on this channel too. Witch hunt. Don't witch hunt people. Don't do that. We had a live here the other day talking about somebody on the Drake docket who is clearly unwell. And for some reason, you people thought that I wanted you to, after I said, don't go bothering people with this name, went and found information about people with that name, started posting it in the comment section. Like I want to know, or like the comment section is a repository for an investigation. We read a document. We're not investigating anybody. If I wanted to know more information about that person, I would have gone and done more research to present to you all. But that person is completely irrelevant and going to be denied by the court. We don't dox here. So gathering information about people, putting them in the comment section, that leads to doxing. When I say we're not going to be talking about something on the channel, the last thing I want you to do is come into the comment section and post what you found out. That's gross behavior. If you've never experienced doxing and how it can jeopardize your life and the lives of your children, you wouldn't understand. But I do. And I do not play that here. Abso-fucking-lutely correct. Transphobia hurts everyone, cis and trans alike. So it's not about that. And that's why I said, let's not cast the whole, trans is defamatory because it's trans. No. Nope. She could have said that Brigitte Macron wears a wig because actually on the back of her head is another man's face. Harry Potter type shit. Literally anything other than what is real and what is true about the back of that person's head, then you go on and lie about it, make up stuff about it, cite people who have proven to have lied about it. That's defamatory. It's not a slur against people who absorbed their twin in utero. Thank you very much. I could not remember the name. Thank you very much. Yeah, she taunted them. She lied about them. It makes me a little crazy, Marshall Irons. I know that there are some people who feel like they're helping. There are some people who think it's completely innocent. It's not malicious. They found something, they think it's interesting, and they want to share it. And so through a purely innocent intention, they have unwittingly contributed to what could lead to doxing or harassment. I don't want to be involved in that. So I have to at least say the disclaimer of what my intention and what my expectation is of what it is that we do and don't do here. And we don't do that. We don't do that here. Like I said, if I want to know more information about anybody on the planet, I have the means and the resources to go and find that information. I've proven that quite a few times, but in innocuous ways that have no bearing on anybody's life, didn't put their information out there in the public. If I want to know, I have the means to go find out. But if I've already decided that I don't want to know, you're probably not going to bring me anything that I personally am going to find valuable or relevant. That's the thing. Is it relevant? And a lot of people bring up stuff tangential to situations that may be interesting, may be informative to a broader context, are not relevant to the situation in front of us. That's the hard wiring of my professional brain. that will not allow me to deter from that. Like facts. I try my damnedest. By the time I've come to publication on facts, I got it. There's that too. They think they know you and want to help out. And that's just evidence to me that you don't. You don't know me. You don't know me. I've moved on. That's the other thing is I've moved on. I am not going to go and do additional research on this situation. Not 1 minute of it. Not one. I don't want to know anything about anybody named or mentioned or what was specifically said in the podcast episodes. Nothing. I'm going to move on. I'm going to be thinking about final book details to get pre-sale going. I'm going to be thinking about what's for dinner. I'm going to be thinking about evening seesaw time because my seesaw time was stolen from me last night working on the damn Shopify for the book because I love y'all and I'm trying to get it together. And if you're wondering, is seesaw a euphemism? Yes, beloved, it is. It's a euphemism for sex. Yes, it is. And let me tell you something, they were so ready and so excited. You know you're in trouble when you wake up from a nap to a meal cooked and it's just all protein and carbs. It's like a full power pack with some caffeine on the side. And then they want to go for a walk right after dinner so you don't get sleepy. And what they're really trying to do on this walk, even though it's pretty sunset, no, they're trying to naturally limber you up, get a little stretch going in your stride. So when you come back into the house and they slam your ass down, you're not surprised. Went through all that work and I was like, sorry, I'm still not done figuring out international sales on the Shopify. Rain check? That's so funny. Yeah, so, but in the meantime, just so you know, if you haven't already, I'm sure this is probably going to be one of the most commented on posts that I have here on the post tab. Don't put your comment in the live chat. I mean, you can, but it's not going to count. Okay. You put your comment on the post itself, and I just shared the link. But the question of the day that I posted on the post tab before I went live is, what is Pharrell's best song? There are directions. Follow the directions, make it easier for everybody, okay? And especially me. But there's already a bunch of comments. I haven't looked at L1. I'm so excited this evening to go through the comment section, see what y'all have to say about what is Pharrell's best song. It can be a song where he is a feature, because I make the rules here in this benevolent dictatorship. I didn't say album. I didn't say project produced by. I said best song. Answer it on the post tab. Get your 2 cents in there. Yeah, there was a whole lot of premeditated setup, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I really do. I really do, because waking up to bacon and biscuits is not a bad thing on any given day. But I did immediately was when when you come to and you smell whatever the food is in the air cooking. I smelled the breakfast and I was like, oh hell. Oh hell, I'm in trouble. But it's good trouble. Kingling says, I'm definitely answering way more than once, which is allowed by the rules. Yes, it is. It is allowed. You can put as many songs as you want, but only one song per comment. Otherwise, it makes it very difficult for me to track where it is that you all are trending. And I made this an open question instead of randomly picking four Pharrell songs, because on a quiz, it only gives me 4 options. So I made it an open question. So you can leave as many comments as you want, but one song per comment, please. Much appreciated. So yeah, y'all. Yeah, I wasn't planning on having a live today, but I needed to make sure that I got this one in, and I'm trying to stay timely and on top of things and not let them get stacked up because we are waiting for the Drake motion to dismiss decision. So here's what I was going to say before we got into that little Q&A moment. My greatest indicator that this is coming, and maybe this week, honestly, maybe this week. And I just need you to understand that this is for funsies, okay? And I am perfectly aware that there are 1,000 things that I can't see. And I'm reading fake tea leaves because it makes me feel better, okay? All right? Okay. um I'm literally going to refresh just to make sure it didn't update and I don't say the wrong thing. And if this updates tonight with this thing, I'm going to be so pissed. But anyway, okay, hear me out. There's an outstanding motion on the docket. It's almost 10 days old. It's procedural. It's a motion to serve a witness. It's a request for permission to serve a witness through alternative means because that witness is hard to locate. They've offered up all of the, here's what we did, and here's our declarations of what we tried to do for months and months and months to find and serve this person who we cannot find and serve. And now we need the court to grant us the opportunity to use alternative means to serve this person. The judge has not done anything on that ruling. Now, as I say this, don't take this as me getting ready to say, so the judge is going to dismiss Drake's case. That's not what I'm about to say. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that it is distinctly possible that no motions are going to get ruled on until the motion to dismiss comes out. We've got the motion to dismiss, and then we've got the declaration of interest biscuit head nonsense that we went through the other day. Those are 2 motions on the docket that are outstanding. Declaration of interest nonsense, that can be ignored and dealt with later. It has no bearing or relevance whatsoever, and they don't need to deal with it immediately. Motion to serve through alternate means is directly related. Does, to a certain extent, have it is attached to a clock and a calendar for discovery and things like that. Not a pressing one, but nevertheless, there's still an attachment there. It's been almost 10 days. There has not been a ruling on it. And that is the one little thing that I'm holding on to. It's the only thing that I can see. Everything else is in a courthouse behind closed doors. We can't see it. We don't know what's going on. This is the only thing that I can see that makes me say, okay. Okay. Maybe the reason the judge has not ruled on that is because the judges and the clerks are nose down getting this decision authored so that they can get it out. And then depending on what the decision is, additional orders for other motions will follow after that. Now, having said that, watch it all change tonight and the judge be like, yeah, go ahead and serve through alternate means, and we still don't get the motion to dismiss decision. But again, that's just the for funsies. When I think about, at this point, it's like once every 72 hours, this will flash into my head and I literally get butterflies in my stomach that this decision is coming. And I'm like, oh God, what's it going to be? And I just go over all this stuff in my head that I've gone over 1,000 times. And my endpoint is always the same. I don't know anything more than I did, than when I started this little moment of, oh my God, I can't believe this is all happening. And we're waiting for a decision on motion to dismiss. Just really blows my mind. But at the point where I feel like I'm crawling the walls, I'm like, okay, what indicator do I have? Indicator do I have of when this is going to come down? Oh, Jesus, that's a notification. And yeah, that's the only indicator I got right now. That's the only one. Probably not a good one, but that's what I got. No, I didn't. It's curled and cleaned. It's curled and cleaned. I put it in a bun once and people lost their shit. I wore the wrong glasses like 9 months ago and people were like, who's that? You know who the fuck it is. Is that absolute? I don't know if it looks like it. You know who it is. I don't know what transcript you're talking about. If you're talking about I don't know what transcript you're talking about. No, not necessarily. I'm assuming you're talking about Drake. Demetria says, on an entirely 100% personal note, and not what you think legally will or won't happen, will you feel vindicated if the case is dismissed? Oh, that's a nuanced question. I will not feel vindicated because I haven't taken a position one way or the other. I haven't taken an absolute this or that. I've said I could see this going either way. I will feel relieved if the case is dismissed. I'll cut it down even purer than that. The only thing I care about in Drake's lawsuit is defamation per se. And if defamation per se is dismissed, I will feel a moment of weakness in my knees. I will be relieved. So relieved. Like overwhelmingly, oh my God, I have to sit down. I'm so relieved. That's how I will feel. But vindication, I don't It would be foolish of me to call it one way or another. Because again, the legal merit of his claims and the factual merit of his claims are two completely different things. Factually, his lawsuit is bullshit. I'm not a judge, so I can't speak to, has he met the bar legally? But we will find out. We will find out. No, there is no transcript available for the motion to dismiss until September, I think. So we had a live during the motion to dismiss. We did some reading from updates on the internet. I swore off inner city press. So please, y'all, don't ever bring them up to me again. Ever. But the actual transcript of the hearing is in process. The release of them is dictated by several procedural things that are required. And you can't get access to it before then if you're a non-party. You're welcome, beautiful. You are very welcome. So that's it. This live has been over 3 hours. So I'm not going to get into any other topics. We'll save that for tomorrow. Just so you all know, if all goes well, if all goes to plan, I will be on We Are Deciphered this weekend. And if it does not go to plan, I'll be on We Are Deciphered next week. But it's time for a meetup. Time for a meetup and a chit chat. And those are always good. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, just a heads up, it's still Skip's laptop is being worked on. And as long as it comes back on time, we should be good to go. But if something happens and it doesn't, then we'll have to push it out a couple days. It's funny because I saw him post something about, the laptop going off for needed repairs. And I thought to myself, like an elitist. I thought to myself, like the tech elitist I am. Repair shop. Why don't you just order the part and do it yourself? Repair shop. Bruh, come on. And then he emailed me today and he was like, yeah, I sent the Mac off to the shop. And I was like, oh, it's a Mac? Never mind. Never mind. Don't touch it. Put it in extra peanut packaging and send it off. Yeah. Mac. Yeah, bruh. I'll wait. You let me know when you're ready. That's perfectly fine. Yes, you need the professionals for that. Boy, I about faced so fast. So fast. Again, all it takes is empirical evidence for me to change my mind. Laptop needs repairs. I'm like, come on, bruh. Come on. It's 2025. What are we doing here? If I can do it, you can do it. Oh, the Mac needs to be repaired. I was like, bro, never mind. Never mind. Forget I said all that, okay? You do you. Fuck that shit. Yeah. All them obscure ass proprietary parts and shit and little, they got it's like that one Mel Gibson movie with Julia Roberts, Conspiracy Theory. He's got everything is rigged. Everything is rigged to not work. If somebody touches it wrong in his house, that's exactly what they do inside of Mac. That's exactly what they do inside of Mac. Nah, dog, I'm good. I'm good. Anything else? Anything else? Oh, with the utmost confidence. I got that. With the utmost confidence. A Mac? Nah, dog. I'm going to be like Ali Sadiq. Just buy another one. What's the problem? Does it need fixing? Or can we just buy another one? Fix it. Who we got to sacrifice for that? So, yeah. We'll just, we'll wait. I'm sure all will be well and it will be fixed, and hopefully it will be fixed in time. And if not, then like I said, we'll push it a couple days, but the conversation will happen. Somebody asked, is there a specific topic? They asked me to come on and they didn't say what it was about. So I didn't ask. That's how you know it's trust. That's how you know it's trust. Because usually when people email me and say, hey, you want to come on our YouTube channel, I say, who are you? Who are you? I'm going to need your government name. How'd you get this email address? What you want to talk to me about? Who all? Don't be there. All the questions. If I were ABSA and were to consider appearing on your channel, who all gonna be there? But no, he sent me a very quick, hey, link up on the channel next Saturday. I was like, yes, heart emoji. And that was it. So I trust them. I don't care what they want to talk about. I'm down to talk about it. How about that? But I'm sure we'll find out sooner or later. Yeah. I'm already knowing. I am already knowing. Yeah, I did. Heart emoji, sure. So. Which video? Which video is showing up as YouTube featured? I love that. Take a screenshot and email it to me. Make me feel good about myself. Because my last scripted video, the algo was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. This isn't, conspiracy. So we're going to try and bury it as deeply as possible. I was very sad. I hate when I actually have affection towards a piece of my work and then it doesn't perform well. That makes me crazy. On most things, in terms of producing work, I try and stay very neutral. There are some things when I write them where I'm like, I wrote the hell out of that thing, right? The last scripted video, I'm trying not to say what the name of it was because then the algo is just going to bury this too. But yes, I did a scripted video on Sunday. You can go, check it out, like it, comment, share it, all those things. I finished that video and I was like, oh man, you are good. This is good. This is good writing. It's cohesive. It's coherent. Like from beginning to end, if you didn't understand what the topic was at the beginning, you have a clear understanding at the end. I was like, yes. 45 minutes later, YouTube was like, your subscribers aren't watching your video. Have a nice day. I hate that. That's the worst. Oh, this live. That's funny. Well, you can send it to liveabsa@gmail.com. Appreciate you. Heart emoji. Aw. I showed it to my husband and he was like, "Does Absa have more videos like this?" And we watched a whole bunch of them. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, it's well before the 1 year mark. As I'm sure you're starting to learn as you go through the original canon of the first year of the content. As I had to explain to a newbie in the comment section today, you may be mistaken. You would be mistaken if you think that talking about rappers or celebrity drama on YouTube is my full-time gig. And every once in a while, I just wade into politics and make up something real dog whistle-like to get people's attention and clicks. But actually, it's the exact opposite. I work 7 days a week, 365 days a year if the crisis calls for it, on political communications and strategy. And for funsies, as decompression, I come here to commiserate with y'all to talk about other things in the wake of evaluating the strategy and fallout of the greatest rap beef in the history of rap. That spawned not one book, but two. And a whole community. And a whole community. And a whole community where we take the teachable moment and build it into what matters and actually has material impact on our lives. So, yes, if you're not familiar with that and you've just caught the lives and you're like, "Oh, cool, court documents." Yeah, there's a bunch of actual videos, scripted, going back a year. Great analysis where you get to see and hear just little old square professional me. Not a lot of what you get here in the live. Which I think is added personality content. We get a little cussy here in the live. But yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, the Bompton Bampain. Yeah, that was one of my faves for sure. I definitely have my faves. And the last one, I know actors say this. Well, my most recent project is my favorite, but my last scripted video, I really was like, God damn, that's probably in my personal top 10 of scripted content that I've made on this channel. I was like, yeah, you did that. You did that. So that is satisfying. Cherry on top would be if more people see it, but if they don't, they don't. It's there and I did the damn thing. So what are y'all having for dinner? My wrist still hurts. I haven't had anything to eat all day today, now that I think about it. That's rough. Chicken and biscuits. Ooh. 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 Korean chicken sandwich earlier. Claudia, I'm launching a vote for street tacos in my household. I hope to be successful. Fair. Fateless. Also eating for the first time. Yeah, this is rough. Just be yapping. Thanks, Absa, for keeping us informed. This contribution is for my flooding your Pharrell post with too many song comments. Skateboard P's contribution to music is just so good. That's true. I knew it was going to be a good question. And I knew there would be people just like you who'd be like, comment number 1, comment number 2, comment number 3. Comment number 16. Comment number, yeah. What will be interesting to me is if at the if at the end there's a list of about 25 top Pharrell songs. I think 25 is a fair number. And again, I know there are people who are going to be like, okay, I'm going to just individually post every track from this one album. Don't do that. Okay. Let go of the album. Don't cheat. Sprinkle it about. All right. I specifically said song and not album project. That's a different conversation. But anyway, yeah. I knew it would be a good question and it would get people thinking and also reminiscing because he goes back. You can get into a legitimate way back machine on Pharrell. And that's always fun too. It's a good midweek, good midweek question. Yeah. So tomorrow I will be back. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Yeah, I will be back in the morning hours before noon for a live to talk about all the things that I didn't talk about today. Because I was talking about this. But there are things. And I just don't have the brain capacity. And I'm hungry. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to eat. I'm going to be responsible and I'm going to go into the kitchen. Because I ain't got no money. And I'm going to find something in the kitchen. But y'all are killing me. Fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and corn. Fuck. Okay. All right. I'll figure it out. So yes, that's why I need to get off of here because I'm not going to figure it out. If I keep sitting here salivating off of what it is that y'all are eating. Alicia Humpage said, just got off work and I'm tired. Child, I feel you. Go relax, decompress, get you a good snack or a good meal, and run this back for the replay gang. And if some of you feel so inclined, you can buy me dinner, child. I'll skip my little cute ass out of that kitchen so fast, sit right there on that couch, wait for DoorDash to come. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. Anyway, thank you for hanging out and staying in the know on all of the, dramatic things happening that are, again, consequential to our lives. And I will see you tomorrow on day 25 of waiting. Fucking waiting for this goddamn decision. All right. See you soon. Take care.